Hi students, this is Kyun-woo, and I'd like to show you how to build your GUI application in a very quick speed, because your laboratory work should be assigned as a homework. So it will open today, and you have to complete it up to tomorrow. So when is the closing time tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
9
no,
p.m.
PM 4:30.
4:30 p.m. Okay, so it will be closed 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. So you have to try it. You have just one day. So please try to exercise this as your starting point. Okay. So let me just show the screen of today's material by the problem sheet again. Okay, so this is the lecture note. So it has a very simple skeleton code for eval, how to use eval. So as you know, the eval function is accept a string representing an expression in Python, and it will return the value of the evaluation result. Okay, so it provides a convenient way, but it is not typically related to the GUI, but we'll use eval for the calculation in your dummy calculator. Okay, so let me show you how to use eval in your terminal window. So let me show you this with your Visual Studio Code. So in your terminal window via Visual Studio Code, you can type Python. So you may eval. So here is 1 plus 2 times 3, which is an evaluation result of that string. Okay, so you can do any operations, 2 to the 10, which will be evaluated 1024. And you may even eval the list of something, list evaluation, 1, 2, 3 plus 4, okay, which will return 3 elements. And you can do the evaluation result of range, but you know that range 10 is a generator operator, so it will return just a range operator, range object. So if you really want a list of range, so list of range of 10 or 100, so it will return this kind of result. Okay, so you can even other list such as Python, okay, Python string. So beware that I use the single quote here rather than double quote, because I use double quote outside. So you can do that. If you want to single quote here, you can use double quote inside, okay? So it may be used as an escape sequence, okay? So you can do this kind of evaluation, but let me just switch it to the original lecture note. So you know that here I used eval. When you accept a label, then it is doubled up, okay, by evaluating times 2, okay? So if the label is digit, you can do that. If it is not, you want to just print label, okay? So let me just show this and just enter in your Visual Studio Code. But before that, let's take a look of your GUI component part. So your GUI root window is created by TK object. The title is set here. And you have entry object as an entry. Entry is created. And it is justified by right, because it will be used to show the numbers. And the width is 12, so it will containing 12 digits. And the initial value of the entry is 0, so it is inserted as 0. And entry is packed to your window. And you want to make a frame, an invisible frame, And inside of the frame, you'd like to make 4 buttons. So you'd like to loop this here with a label. So each label is either 1 or 0 or C or D. And you'd like to make a label with text with that label and with these 3. So enough buttons. So the button is enlarged enough. And the important thing is that you want to make a handler as a lambda function. That lambda function is just setting the default argument label here, and it is transferred to the enter function here. So each handler is set the default value as 0, 1, C, D as a label. Okay, and buttons is packed whose side is left, and the window is the event main group. I just already typed this in your Visual Studio Code. So let me share this code, share my Visual Studio Code. So inside of this Visual Studio Code, I just typed the same thing, okay? And the entry is for evaluating, but it is printed in the standard output, okay? So if I execute this, the window shown, but it is not enlarged enough. So let me just share this, the calculator, okay? But if you press some of these, it seems not in operation, but it is really in operation. So you can check it in your Visual Studio Code. Okay, so it is in operation, but you cannot see the calculator. So I just pressing 1, 0, CD, so it is printed in your screen. So let me try the whole screen. Okay, whole screen here. Okay, so in the whole screen, you can see that if I type 2, if I press 1, then 2 is printed. Press 0, then 0 is printed. C or D and CD, the label is printed. So as described in the enter, if it is labeled digit, the double of value is printed. So when you modify this as label plus 1 times 2, plus 1 times 2, then the result may be different. Okay, save this. And you may close this, and running this again will show this kind of button. So when you press 1, then 1 plus 1 is 2, times 2 will 4 will be printed. 22. 1 plus 1 is 11. So 11 times 2. So 22 will be printed. So how about 0? It is a syntax error. So because the leading 0 is not evaluated correctly, so if you really want to do that, then you may modify this as 1 plus label, okay? Then the result is different, okay? So let me just execute this again. Just nudge this a little bit. 1, it is same as before, but 0, and then 20, okay? Because 1, 0 times 2 is the result. CD and C and D is the result, okay? Okay, then I'd like to just make this as working as inside of your entry. So you have to consult to your lecture note. Okay, so in your lecture note, you have seen this kind of the handler is somewhat complicated. So let me just simplify this as a C and D and the eval part again. So let's just share this again. So once the label is either C and D, then you'd like to just print it in your entry. So you just delete entry and entry that insert 0 label. Okay, and C and D will be printed here. So if it is not, so let me just remove this. If it is not, you'd like to make entry that insert to the end label. Okay, so label is attached at the end. Okay, so if it is C or D, either clear the entry and then enter the label. If it is not, you'd like to just attach it to the end. Okay, so that is the operation. So let me just share this, running this again. Okay, so let me share this with the whole screen. Okay, so it is an execution. So when you click C or D, it should be appear instead of 0. C, D, it is appeared. But once you push 1, it is appended, okay, at the end. Okay, so do you know what is the operation delete and insert, delete and of the insert? Okay, so let me just make another thing. So when you press C, you want to clear it. So once the label equals C, then you want to clear it, just delete it. And then as insert 0 rather than label, you will enter 0 as a current entry. Okay. For the other things, elif, if the label equals D, you want to delete it, delete entry, but you want to enter some special string. The special string may be star star star. Okay. Okay, so let's just do this. Okay. Execute this again. When you enter C, it is cleared. So 1, 0 cleared. 1, 0 cleared. Even D, 0, 1 cleared. Okay, so the clear operation, clear is in operation, but others is not because D is printing some special characters. And once it is cleared, if you press 0, the meaning is leading 0 is remained. Okay, but once you press 1, the meaning is leading 0 is still remained. So you have to handle 0 button as a special case. So how can you handle this? Okay, so let's pick your lecture note again. Okay, so in your lecture note, once it is if the label, the current entry contains is 0, then you want to delete it. Delete the entry. So there will be no 0 at the end. So you'd like to make an entry, insert to the end of the label. So if you are currently pushing 0, 0 is deleted and 0 is entered. If it is you are pushing 1, 0 is deleted and 1 is entered. For the other case, you'd like to just attach the label at the end. So with this simple modification, your numeric pad, it will be in operation. Okay, so let's take a look how it is in execution. Execute this again. Oh, it is not working. Save this. F5. Okay, so it is in operation. So for D, it is currently not working now, but C, it is working. And once you press 0, it is not changed. Sorry, delete. Okay, delete. Entry delete. Sorry for that. So let me execute this again. Okay. So C is in operation, D not operation, C is cleared. Once you press 0, it is working. Press 1, it is working. 0, it is working. Okay, so currently your numeric pad and the clear button is in working. So the last thing is to make V is in working. Okay, so let me close this and pick your lecture note again, and then modify your code. Okay, so how can I make this working? So you have to get the entry current value from your entry. So you have to get it from your value. So you can save this as value. Eval the entry that get. So current string value is evaluated as a numeric value. And you want to double up since D stands for double up. Okay, and you'd like to insert the entry, insert a value rather than star as an answer. Okay, so with this simple modification, you want to double up the entry value. Okay, so let me just execute this again in your screen. Okay. So execute this again. It is not focused, sorry. So it is executed. So 101 is currently in operation. Clear is in operation. And double up is doubling up the value. Okay. So in this way, you can do a dummy calculator working. Okay. But let me just modify your code to organize with your main function. Taekwang, do you have any questions up to here? You should turn on your microphone. Any unclear point in this enter or this construct?
저 글로벌 같은 경우에는 꼭 붙여야 되는 건지.
Yeah, it is not used here, but it will be used later. Okay, this is not necessary here. This is not necessary. So when you try this, currently it is not necessary. I show this screen. So I just removed global. It is currently working. Okay. So it is not necessary currently. Any other questions?
없습니다.
Okay, so your TA is just pinpoint the important one. So as I explained before, it is actually necessary here as global, okay, global entry, because it is not defined inside of enter. But it is actually not needed up to here, because once it is really used, it is already created outside of the entry. But if you really want to move this as a main function, so let me delete this. And you'd like to make this as a main function, and you want to define main here. Okay. And then these two functions, enter and main, should communicate with entry. Okay. In that case, you have to make a global declaration. Global declaration in both function. Okay. So the entry is not defined here, but it will be defined outside of the functions. And you can define entry here as non-value, okay? But it will be set as a new value in the main entry, and your enter, the handler, will use it, okay? So you have to need some plumbing with the entry data structure, okay? So I just execute this. I will execute this. So let me share the whole screen. Once you change this, so it is an execution correctly, okay? But once you delete any of them, it is not working, okay? Because it is not globally created, but it will not working, okay? So once you press this, you know that non-type has no attribute get, because this entry is not the same entry created here. So in order to make it the same entry, you have to make it clear global entry. Okay, so this entry is shared. The created entry is shared. Okay. Okay, so let me go back to your original question, original problem. So the original problem is calc the pi, okay? So you have 10 numeric paths and you have 3 operator buttons, plus, minus, times. And compute button is equal, and clear button, which is same to the clear button in dummy calculator. So the operation of this should be similar to the normal calculator. So let me just show you the normal calculator here. So which can be downloaded, from this this site. Okay. So you know that this is normal calculator, but you don't have to make up all the details, but you have to make 10 numeric paths with C and equal and 3 operators, okay? So just clear, this is okay. So 1, 2, plus 3 equals 15, okay? So you don't have to show the small letters here. This is not needed, but just entry points, it should be shown as your entry visit, okay, in your entry visit. So times 2, 30, plus 3, 33, times 5, like this, okay, clear. 1 plus 2 equals makes 3. So how about when I press equal again? So the plus 2 is repeated, okay? So times 2 equal, how about equal again? Times 2 is repeated. Okay, so please make your calculator according to the operation of this older calculator in Windows. That is the requirement. So once you complete, you want to submit that code to your NeoSPA, but your NeoSPA is currently not working with the GUI application. So you have to comment out the GUI part, and then you have to enter the input and the output. Okay, so in this simple input, you have to process the output. Okay, so you can do that as your main tool. Okay, so let me just show you. Our other function is just as my event. Okay, you may define my event with a line. Okay, may return 0. Okay, then you may use line is the input, and then print my event of line. Okay, so currently it is not working, so you get 0 point. But in order to submit it, you have to comment this out. Okay, comment this part out. Comment this out, and you are going to submit it, but it is not currently working because once you execute this, you know that 12 plus 5 is 0. It is always 0. Okay, so let me just evaluate, make it. So when you take a look of your problem sheet, okay, you can make it very simply. Okay, then you may try this. Okay, so let me show this again. Share this again. Okay, so once you execute this, 12 plus 5, 17. Okay, execute this again, 3 times 40. Okay, it works fine. So let me just submit this into your NeoSPA. Here is NeoSPA. I have to, okay. So I have to reshare this again. Okay, here. So you have to select the file dummycalc.py and upload it. So you get 100 points. Okay, then your TA is receiving your code and disable the comment out, enable the comment out reason and test your code. Okay, do you know how can do it? It is okay for you?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have any questions, please use your Q&A board. Okay, and this homework will be open at 4:30 p.m. today. Okay, and you have 1 day to submit it, but it will open for the other weeks since it is a makeup lecture. It will be posted as a makeup lecture. Okay. So feel free to ask questions to your Q&A board. Your TA is a lot on your Q&A board for 1 day, okay? And then please enjoy your first